Hi, this is Lauren Fogelman at ExpertSportsPerformance.com, working with highly driven, motivated athletes on being cool, calm, and confident under pressure for consistent winning results. Today's topic is the hidden barriers that keep you from improving your sports performance. Now, if you could have one wish, and you had two options, and you can only choose one of them, one was to go pro immediately, and the other was to have the mental game that would take you to the top, which would you choose? Most athletes, they would go for that immediate results and they'd want to immediately turn pro. Which makes a lot of sense because we love being able to have our wishes come true right now. But number two is actually the wiser choice, even though it's not the sexier one. Because when you have the mental game, you know what it takes to stay focused under pressure, you have the confidence, you've consistently built up towards it, you're going to be able to sustain being at the top for a longer period of time than if you're an overnight success, possibly allowing you to just be a one-hit wonder. So going pro immediately sounds great, but having the mental game to be able to reach it and sustain it is what's going to really help you to get from where you are to where you want to be and be able to claim it. Now, a lot of times, athletes experience erratic results where they're hot one time and cold the next. And I was recently talking with a golfer about that, where she'd been steadily improving, and then she was seeing this zagged up and down spiral. One day she'd be great at a tournament, and the next day her performance was off. And what I told her about was the hidden part of it, the mental game, the stuff that was going on underneath the surface as to why this was happening. And it has to do with this. People have a set point. It's like a speedometer and you put it on cruise control. And when you put it on cruise control or you have your set point, you see yourself in a specific way. Whether you see yourself as maybe a lower caliber athlete, an average one, or elite and high. So whatever it is for you. With this particular golfer, her set point, her range was being a mid-70s golfer. So she really had a solid 73 as her score. That's what her average was. And one day she would play really well going below her score, but the next day she'd play so much above it, but you could see how it always averaged out to this really solid 73. And that's how she saw herself, was a mid-70s player. So what we looked at is this whole speedometer, set point, cruise control analogy. It's like setting your car on cruise control. And if you set it for 73, when it goes uphill, it might accelerate a little bit, and you might go a little bit above 73, but when you go downhill, it puts the brakes on and it holds back a little bit, so you're really back to your average. And that's what happens with athletes, is think about how you view yourself as far as where your standings are, and you might actually be boxing yourself in. Now, here's a strategy to be able to get out of that. First, awareness. Awareness is not just awareness that you're here and you have this set point, but awareness of your vision. Where do you want to go? And is it a really big enough vision for you that gets you excited? It feels like it's right, and you can see yourself going there. So become aware of your vision and where you are now, and see if there's a gap in how you're viewing yourself right now that's creating this limitation. After that, it has to do with the attitude. The attitude is that we like to spend time with who we're comfortable with, who are similar to where we are. Remember, you become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So who are you training with? Are they like you? Well, if that's the case, I want you to be able to up-level. I want you to find other athletes who are go-getters and be able to up-level your attitude to be able to train with those athletes who are better than you are. They're going to push you. They probably train a little bit differently, and their mental game's a little bit different also. So you can really learn by that, but you're going to be stretched, you're going to be out of your comfort zone, and that's going to help you to really change that set point. The next part of it is accelerate. You're going to be able to improve faster by stretching yourself and deciding to get out of your comfort zone. Don't just do the things that you know that you're good at and get great results and they're fun. Do the things that are uncomfortable for you. Just enough uncomfortable where you really have to have focused energy, you really have to work at it, and you fail a little bit. Not so much that you fail at everything, but you fail maybe 40% of the time, because it's great feedback, it stretches you. You have to be able to continue to recalculate to figure out how to make those little tweaks so you eventually are able to rise up to the challenge. So that's what I want you to think about, is what would be your strategy as to becoming aware of where you are now in relation to your vision. How can you up-level your attitude by spending your time with go-getters and accelerate your performance by really stretching yourself, getting out of your comfort zone. Now, the other thing that I did with this golfer was we came up with the plan based upon this strategy. And you might want to have a pen and pencil to write it down. The first thing is that we looked at calculation. She was really encouraged to take some calculated risks so that she would fail maybe 20 to 40% of the time. That meant that she was stretching herself. After that, I wanted her to be consistent in her mental game routine. Don't just do it sometimes, do it all the time. I know that athletes, they consistently go through their physical warm-up, go through a mental game warm-up also. It's going to make it different. It's going to get you really focused and really connected with what you want to do. The next thing is commitment. So we have calculated, consistent with now, and commitment. With commitment, that is commitment to each and every action you take, each and every step you take. For this golfer, it was commitment to every single shot that she took. Even if it wasn't the best one, but that was the one that she chose, fully commit to it. No doubts, no holding back. And then along with calculated, consistent commitment, we add in compete. Compete with athletes who are better than you, who are going to really stretch you. So you get this really rich feedback that you can understand, look at, tweak, and adjust so you're consistently improving. Now, there was a problem for this golfer, is she had some old beliefs come up as she was continuing to stretch herself, following her plan, putting herself around better athletes. That was part of the set point of seeing her as a mid-70s golfer. She had some of these old beliefs coming up that was keeping her in this comfort zone. They just didn't work for her anymore, and they were under the surface, and she couldn't find them until we started looking at her mental game. So the solution was to be able to uncover these old beliefs, which is possible. It's hard to do it on your own because a lot of times they're subconscious and hidden from you. But with the solution, we were able to figure them out. We were able to look at them, and then we did what was called reframes, was replacing them with something that was new, better for who she was, where she wanted to go, and was more appropriate for her circumstances at this point in her sports career. So I want you to be able to look at that for yourself. Oh, this is the challenge. Look at your vision, and how is it aligned with where you want to go and how you see yourself now? Is it that you've boxed yourself in with this image of where you are now, so you're actually holding yourself back and you have this erratic, hot and cold play where one time you're great and the next time you tank? So look at that vision, and if you were to step into and immediately go to where you wanted to be, step into that vision, what would be different? How will your confidence be different? How will you compete differently? How will your competitive mindset change and make adjustments for that high level of competition? So look at those things, become aware of them, and what are some things that you can actually put into practice now instead of waiting until you've arrived? And when you think about those things, where is there resistance? Because that's showing that maybe there's some limiting old beliefs. And how can we look at them and explore them so we can replace them with ones that are better suited for who you are and where you want to go, so that what we can do is change your set point and change your speedometer so that you're showing up at a higher level, you're performing better, you're stretching yourself, and you're seeing dynamic results. I'd love to hear from you, your comments, your takeaways. what you're going to put into place. Hit the likes button to be able to share this and pass it forward. If you're interested in my free video training series on the mental game and what you can do to really show up in a different way, up level, go to my expertsportsperformance.com website, put your name and email address into the boxes on the right-hand corner. Immediately, you receive the first of the video training series. I look forward to hearing from you. Please post a comment, click the likes button. My mission is to show you how to stay cool when the heat is on. Lauren Fogelman, expertsportsperformance.com.